The crow. Wonders about the crow. The crow counts to 9. Perhaps the crow was the only animal that could count up to the number 9. That was by observation. A crow lived near a rabbit hole and was inhabited by 9 rabbits. It is known that the crow is fond of collecting food and shiny objects. It was noticed that the crow was waiting on his tree until the rabbits came out and left their hole, and he did not approach the hole to search for things until after the 9th rabbit left the hole. The crow recognizes human faces. Researchers discovered that crows can recognize human faces. Not only that, but also classify them into good people and bad people. The crow has more than 250 types of screeching. Each screeching has a different specific message. For example, it has a screech alerting the presence of a cat, a screech that is somewhat different for the presence of a human, and another screech alerting the presence of a bird of prey. Wah-ah, wah-wah, including the private one, and it resembles the sound of pigeons. It is known that the first crime of killing a human being was between the 2 sons of Adam, the 2 brothers Cain and Abel, when Cain killed his brother Abel, and the reason is Satan, his envy, his hatred and his hatred for Adam and his offspring. Spoke the truth, so God Almighty sent a bird raven to teach the sons of God Almighty to be the last of them. The reason is that the crow is the cleverest and most cunning bird ever, and God created it qualified for this task. Scientific studies have proven that the crow has the largest brain halves in relation to the body size of all known birds. Crows live in societies, like humans, and they have courts that punish the wrongdoer. This is an instinct that God has placed in the crow and has distinguished it from all other birds. When a crow dies over a field, the crows change their flight path and avoid flying over that field for a long time. Also, after the death of one of the crows, all the flock stand for several seconds in complete silence, then everyone circles without any sound, as if it were a funeral ritual for the dead crow. In 2002, a female crow caught the attention of scientists and almost made her way to stardom. A number of Oxford University scientists watched in amazement as she picked up a metal wire in her cage effortlessly, then bended one end, and used anything near her to stabilize the other end, and she turned it into a hook that picked up the meat from the small bowl through a small plastic tube. At the time, scientists were puzzled by the amazing mental abilities of the female crow, which enabled her to solve this complex problem with impressive spontaneity, and they thought that she had unique mental abilities that could match human mental abilities. But several years later, research concluded that crows inhabiting the islands of New Caledonia used to bend tools. While observers initially thought that the female crow, whom they called Betty, devised the design of this tool out of her intelligence, they discovered that New Caledonian crows evolved naturally over many years to be able to bend soft twigs and turn them into hooked tools to help them collect food in the wild. New Caledonian crows belong to the family of corvids, which includes crows, ravens, magpies, and ravens. Researchers have conducted several studies in recent years on the brains of these birds. There is no doubt that some of them have amazing cognitive abilities. Can these birds help us define intelligence and know the reasons for the development of these mental abilities? Human intelligence depends on the structure of the brain. In the brains of intelligent primates, including humans, there is a part called the neocortex, and without it, humans would not be able to carry out complex cognitive processes. However, this part is not present in the birds of the family Corvidae, and in return they have developed clusters of neurons that give them similar mental strength. Regardless of brain makeup, corvids and primates have some basic abilities in common, which help them solve problems and adapt to the environment based on new information and experiences. This is an example of convergent evolution, as unrelated types of animals developed convergent traits and characteristics through their contact with nature independently. How does cash payment help to rationalize expenses? Crows and humans rely on fairly similar abilities to help them survive, from recognizing the faces of people who pose a threat to themselves and other members of their group to using gesture to communicate. Some birds have amazing skills, says Christian Rotz, a researcher at the University of St. Andrews. In one study, Rotz and his colleagues described how New Caledonian crows search for a specific type of plant twig to make their hook tools. Experiments have shown that crows succeed in finding the specific branches they seek, even if they are hidden under tree leaves. New Caledonian crows use these tools to extract insects from inside holes in tree trunks. Dakota McCoy, of Harvard University, says that humans rely entirely on their intelligence to face their problems, but this does not mean that they have the best mental skills compared to other living creatures. The short-term memory of chimpanzees, for example, is stronger than that of humans, allowing them to remember where food is in trees. But however different degrees of intelligence, more importantly, intelligence is just a means that help these species of animals adapt to the environment to preserve the species and survive. Other animals other than the New Caledonian crows, Rotz says, have adapted and evolved their ability to use tools, such as chimpanzees, parrots, crocodiles, and even crabs. Other than cognitive abilities, some animals use other means to help them survive, such as a giraffe that stretches its neck to reach inaccessible food. However, some animals may perform tasks beyond their needs to survive and maintain the species. A New Caledonian crow solves an 8-step puzzle to get to food. It seemed clear that these unique abilities diminished next to the capabilities of the crow Betty, which was able to bend the branch, because these problems are never encountered by crows in the wild, but they excelled in solving them using their cognitive abilities. Solving this puzzle with such precision and by following several sequential steps indicates that crows have the ability to plan in advance before execution.